Okay, so right now it is Thursday, April the 22nd. It's early morning. I'm gonna make some homemade chocolate pudding and vanilla pudding. It's very easy to make. It's not like the store-bought stuff that comes full of additives and preservatives. I think it's about 5 just straight regular ingredients. So first we're gonna turn our burner on to medium-high heat. So roughly 5 or 6. We're going to be putting in a half a cup of sugar. It's normal white sugar. This is for the chocolate. We are going to be putting in what are we putting in? At the moment we are going to put in 1 cup of milk. We're going to be putting in 3 tablespoons of cocoa. A little around it. I'm just going to mix this around a little bit. We are going to be adding some more milk to this here in a few minutes. We are going to put into it, what are we going to put in this? 1/4 cup of cornstarch. So we are going to put in 4 tablespoons. So we've already got in 1 cup of milk. So we're going to put in another 1 3/4 of a cup. Now we're just going to stir it around a little more. So like I said, right at the moment we have in a 1/2 cup of white sugar. We have in 3 tablespoons of cocoa. And we have in a 1/4 cup of cornstarch, which would be 4 tablespoons. We are also already got in 2 3/4 cups of milk. And in a few seconds here, we're just going to put in a dash of salt. When I said a dash of salt, something like, I don't know, 1/8 of a teaspoon. A little less than 1/4. So now we're just going to sit on this, stir it around every once in a while. Make sure it does not stick to the bottom of the pan. So now since I got this one all on the go, I'm going to turn on this other pan over here. Same thing, medium-high heat. And in this one, we are going to be adding, what are we adding? A 1/2 cup of sugar. What else are we adding? 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. A little bit more for good measure. A pinch of salt in that one. Now we are going to be adding in 2 cups of milk. And this one's for the vanilla pudding. Mix it around good. Starting to see this one here starting to steam. Now where this is a cast iron pan, I am going to reduce the heat down a little bit. I'm going to turn it down to about 3, between 3 and 4. Now this actually don't take too long to cook. It's pretty quick actually. I'm just going to keep stirring it. Make sure it does not stick and burn. I may have turned this one down a little bit too low. And if you do turn it down, you find you turned it down too low, you just gotta turn it back up a little bit. Now this one here, I can tell you, is really chocolatey smelling in here right now. So I am gonna turn that up just a little bit. And we're just gonna keep doing this probably for another maybe 5 minutes. So while I'm just sitting here waiting for this to start, or I should say, I don't know, finish cooking, I'm just going to put you guys in timeout there, and I'll bring you back when we get closer to the finishing stage, and then show you what to add next. Okay, so this one here is pretty well done. I don't know, might have been 3 minutes. It's just starting to bubble. It's just starting to make little bubbles to break the surface here. So we are going to shut this one off. So like I said, this is a cast iron pan. This one holds the heat. And as you can see, when you go like this, it's heavier. It coats whatever you're stirring it with. So we're just going to leave it sit here and bubble for like maybe 30 seconds to a minute, no longer than a minute. Okay, now this one over here, this one here is starting to thicken up. Just because of the little time difference between the two. So now with this one here, we are going to throw into it don't want to come off. Two tablespoons of butter, and also we're going to go by a cap. A capful of vanilla. You just want to put in, I don't know, anywhere between a teaspoon or two of vanilla into it. Then you're just going to stir it into it along with the butter, let it melt in, pull it off the burner, and you can let it cool down a little bit, stir it a few times while it's cooling, and dish it into some bowls. And you can serve it warm, you can put it in the fridge and chill it, and serve it cold. It's totally up to you. So this here one here is pretty well done. Now, as for the vanilla, it is just starting to thicken up. So I'm going to do the same thing again, not make you sit here any longer, and watch me stir this. I'm going to put you in timeout again, and I'll bring you back when that one gets to the same stage the chocolate one was. Okay guys, so brought you back again. This one here is doing the same one that the chocolate one done. It is just bubbling, starting to break the surface. It has gotten thick. We're going to shut the heat off on this one. We are going to add into it, again, we are going to add, this time only 1 tablespoon of butter. Teaspoon of vanilla. I use a capful. Now I'm going to stir that in. Now, so for the vanilla one, it was a half a cup of white sugar, 2 cups of milk, 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, a quarter teaspoon of salt, roughly a pinch of salt, or an eighth of salt. You don't have to use that much. This helps bring out the flavor a little. A teaspoon of vanilla, and a tablespoon of butter. The same as the chocolate. You can serve it warm, or put it in bowls, a jar, or whatever. Put it in the fridge, let it get cold, and serve it that way. Either which way is fine. I personally like it when it's cold. A couple of my kids, they like it when it's warm. And again, for the chocolate pudding is a half a cup of sugar, 3 tablespoons of cocoa, quarter cup of cornstarch, or 4 tablespoons, a pinch of salt, 2 3/4 cups of milk, 2 tablespoons of butter, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. So that is it, guys. But as well, I should say, when the chocolate one is cooling down, you're going to notice when you're stirring it, as it's cooling down, the top layer is going to be a darker brown. That's the way it's supposed to be. Just stir it in, and just every time you stir it, it's gonna be a darker brown on the top, and eventually when it's all cold, the whole thing will be a darker brown. But that is it, just showing you guys a way to cook up a few pantry items that you probably have in your pantry. It makes a good dessert, treat, snack for your children or yourselves, grandkids. But that'll be it for this here video. So, homemade vanilla pudding and homemade chocolate pudding. Have a good day.